Hi guys, and welcome to the Plot Twist podcast. My name is Catherine, and I am coming to you from Berlin, Germany, which is where I grew up and where I now live with my husband and our 3 kids. This is a slow fashion podcast focusing primarily on knitting. You can find me as Katharina Knits on Instagram, which is where I am not super active, but definitely most active. And you can find me as Frau Christ on Ravelry. And I will link everything that I talk about below in the show notes. So my Instagram is going to be there, my Ravelry page is going to be there, and like all the projects that I talk about, I'm going to link the Ravelry pages for those projects. So whatever it is that I talk about that you want to have information on or check out, please check the show notes because most likely it's going to be in there. Okay, so today I have two stacks of sweaters right next to me. So this is not going to be a regular episode where I show you what I'm currently working on, what I might have finished, and my kids are home, so I thought they were going to come in, and what I am reading, thinking about, watching on television and so on, or on Netflix rather. But today I'm going to talk about my fall sweaters. Because I've seen this on a different podcast where she goes, which is, I'm going to link that for you, Das Strickende Faultier. She used to be the Knitting Sloth, and then she changed to her German name when it became a German language podcast. I enjoy her podcasts tremendously. I was trying to like blend these words together, realizing it doesn't work. Immensely and tremendously, both of those. And she recently had a video on like shawls, and then a different one on fall sweaters, and then a different one on winter sweaters, and then kids knits. And I thought, oh, this is perfect because I'm starting podcasting now, so this would be my episode 6, or this is my 6th video up on YouTube. Yeah, it kind of makes sense talking you through the things that I've knit in the past with some sort of like structure to it, not just like talk about the sweater that I happen to be wearing in any given episode, but like really prepare a little show and tell, or I don't know how you call this, a little assembly of my knits, if you know what I mean, which I'm sure you do. So today I'm going to talk about fall sweaters and fall cardigans. So this is not going to be a regular episode, like I said, but the next one is definitely going to be one. And now I'm going to talk you through how all of this is such a mess today, because so I first have to take a sip to like calm down, because it's a very messy place, our apartment these days. So I'm drinking out of my Monty Potts cup that I got in one of the Hygge boxes from Oliver Homespun House, and I have black tea with milk in it. Oh, and I brought the tea because it's very good. I still have that from last year. It's called Winter's Delight. Oh, hold on. I see everything in reverse on screen, so bear with me if I'm clumsy today. There you go. So this is really nice. It's a wintry sort of black tea, but not overly dramatic, if that makes sense. So it's not an aroma sort of tea, but it's really good. And it's how are they called? P&T. So they live in Berlin. I wanted to say they have their I think they have a shop in Berlin. So it's paper and tea. Oh, that's where it's there. That's the brand. And if you want to look them up on the internet, they have delicious blends. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. I'm trying out a different camera today, so as to avoid the sort of clumsy setup that I had for the last 2 videos, where I would have to look up to see myself on our TV. So now it's a different sort of setup, but that's a camera that apparently takes a few moments to like accommodate. So I'm only finding this out, so I'm sorry. I'm new to this game, so bear with me as always. What did I want to say? The tea? Yes, I know. I wanted to talk about like the mess that is our apartment. So at the beginning of the week on Monday, my oldest son tested positive for COVID. We've had COVID at the end of January, beginning of February, for the first time around, all 5 of us at once. And I'm happy to say that it went well. Like, it wasn't a catastrophe to have all 5 people sick at once. And for me, like, I had a cold and it went away, and then that was that, I thought. And then after a couple of weeks, I developed like respiratory issues that are not dramatic, but they're there and they bother me. And I was hoping that I would only catch it again. Do you say catch COVID? Like I would only get it again when once this has gone away. And now my son has it. And all 4 of us, the other 4 of us, are still tested negative, and we all feel good. So maybe we're just not going to get it. I don't know. That would be good. Or maybe not all of us. But who knows? We're gonna wait around and see how that goes. But so all 5 of us have been home now. So, and that was that with my plans for podcasting, I thought. But since all 4 of us, except my son, my oldest son, are still negative, we're still allowed to leave the house, and we do leave the house to like go for walks and stuff. Obviously, we don't visit anyone indoors now, but like we go out to be out and about and in the fresh air. Yeah, so 2 of both of the boys are home. The other 2 are out, my husband and my daughter. Our daughter. And the boys, I told them to like don't take the apartment apart while I film the video, because my son that's ill, he has symptoms but very few. Like he is well. So I hope that this video is going to go well and it's not going to be interrupted 5,000 times. And yeah, that's why I'm coming to you again later than I planned, and why everything is a little bit of a mess, and also why I decided to go with this video with the sweaters today and not with a regular episode, because that would have just meant more preparation and more time to like focus on stuff, which now I didn't have. But that's okay. I meant to do this anyways, so I'm happy that I get to film this video. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through all of my fall sweaters and cardigans. And the first garment that I ever knit for myself was in, hold on, I need to check my notes, in 2017, a featherweight cardigan. Sort of influenced by Molly of the Homespun House, whose podcast I watched, and she at some point during that time had knit like 3 of those already, and I thought, oh, they look nice, like I might try one of those. I wasn't in that sweater cardigan game kind of to the extent that I knew many designers or patterns that I had like on my mind that I wanted to knit, because I was in that weird mindset of, oh my God, it's going to be a whole sweater or cardigan. Am I going to be like able to finish this? Is it going to take me 5 years? And eventually I thought, well, and if it is, who cares? You know, I'm just gonna try, and in the time that it takes me to knit like 3 pairs of socks, I can finish a garment, most likely. So I thought I'm just going to do it. Finally, I got over this weird block that I had in my mind, and started knitting garments, and it's been the best thing ever. And today I would even like consider myself a sweater knitter. Like, this is what I knit most, what I've always on the needles. I don't really love knitting shawls that much anymore. I am still a sock knitter. Like every so many months I get that bug and I knit socks like a crazy person. But sweaters or garments are really like my favorite thing. And so that's what started it all off. Here you go. This is a teeny tiny featherweight cardigan that I knit when I was pregnant with my, that's my boy is screaming in the other room, I'm sorry. When I was pregnant with my second child, so my middle son. And it's surprising it turned out so small. I hope you can see this. There you go. So, very, very, very snug sleeves, to the point that I think they're too small, actually. You have to learn this, right, by the trial and error. But they're very long, so when I like have to pull them up because they won't quite fit, then they get the right length. So there was a method to my madness in a way. And other than that, yeah, that's it. It's hard to show on camera, I'm sorry. So the featherweight cardigan, if you don't know it, like you have very few increases on the up here, the front. So usually your cardigan would go in deeper, right? And you would be able to close it. And this cardigan you can't close. It's supposed to be worn like around here, like that band, that extended collar goes down like here instead of here or even overlapping. That's not what happens here. It doesn't overlap at all. It's not supposed to. And yeah, and I tried that. It's a very like small cardigan. I don't know the size that I knit. Oh, or do I? Oh yeah, size 35.5 inches. That would be bust circumference. On a 2.5 millimeter and 3 millimeter needle. Excuse me looking down because that's where my notes are. So I wrote down the notes for all of those sweaters I'm going to show you, so I can give you some information. So that was, yeah, so that was knit on a 3 millimeter needle, which is not a lot, fingering weight yarn, and then the ribbing is done on a 2.5 millimeter needle, which is even less. So no wonder it turned out small, but I like it anyway. So I usually wear this with like a skirt and some sort of shirt under it that I tuck into the skirt, and then this over it. I've worn this for Christmas a handful of times. I wear this whenever I need to put something on that is not super warm, but like warm enough. Yeah, when I don't feel like I'm in a situation where I need that super heavy sweater cardigan. Or you put a shawl over it and then you're good. So let me tell you about the yarn. So this is a Homespun House in her gold stellina base. Maybe you can see the sparkle in there. Yeah, ever so slightly. Can you see this? So this is the gold stellina base and her water reservoir color, which I don't think she knits dyes anymore, but this used to be kind of a navy color that she had, a jeans blue, right? Yeah. What else can I say about this pattern? The Featherweight is a pattern by Fettig, and yeah, everybody and their uncle has knit it. I feel like there's another one coming up in this episode, so stick around. Last time we talked about the jelly roll sweater, and I showed you my who was that? Like my oldest son's jelly roll sweater. Now you're gonna see mine. I'm still going to assemble all 4 of them for one episode, one jelly roll episode. But so this is one of my favorite sweaters by far. Again, mostly worn over a skirt, and also this is very bulky with my shawl underneath, but yeah, it's not so warm in here, and we haven't turned the heating on yet. So I usually wear this over a skirt, a black skirt, and then that's that. So I love the sweater is what I'm trying to say. Look, that's the yoke, and that's the body, a little bit crumpled down below, but that's just because it's been lying in the cupboard. It's been tucked away. Haven't worn this yet this fall, so the ribbing down here is the main color with one of the contrasting colors, and then on the sleeves I gathered both of the contrasting colors. So I knit, let me talk you through this. The Jelly Roll Sweater by Mara Catherine Bryner. I always forget this name, so I had to write it down and I have to read it. This was knit on a 3.5 millimeter needle. Also the color work, I didn't change needle sizes for that. It was knit back in 2019, and the colors are as following. So as the main color, This is all Frida Fuchs yarn, and Frida Fuchs is hand dyed in Berlin. And now, it's dark in here. So this is a sort of, it's a very dark blue with, it's not as rich as it now looks on my screen, but it has like the slightest hint of purple in it, the slightest little bit. It's called Wacholderbeere, and that's my main color. And the contrasting colors are this berry red tone, or Rote Beete, and the gray is called Spektrum. And the gray has little flecks of green and sometimes pink in there, which maybe you can see that here, right there. It was a very fun colorway to knit because of the slight speckles that are in there. Maybe you can also see it up here. See? See, it's a little speckly. So that is my jelly roll sweater, and I love it. I don't know that I modified anything with this pattern except that I added increases for the sleeves because I wanted a bit of a snug sleeve. I mean, it's not super snug, but it's not, see, but it's not baggy. And anyway, it's a sort of relatively tight-fitting sweater. It doesn't have negative ease, but it does not have a lot of positive ease. And so I didn't want to have big sleeves. Not that the pattern tells you to do that, but I just went with what I thought fit nicely. And now I'm realizing I forgot one of those sweaters that I have to go fetch real quick. Hold on. Okay. So I ran and fetched it because I knit a Boxy. A Boxy sweater by Locatelli. You will know the pattern. You will have heard of the pattern, I assume. If you haven't, it's a very popular pattern on Ravelry, and everybody seems to have knit one Boxy. I felt the urge to knit one too. There's a V-neck option that I didn't go with. There is a, I don't know, worsted weight option that I didn't go with. I chose the fingering weight Boxy, and oh my god, this took me forever to knit. No, it didn't, because I was on a roll. Like, I really knit this in, well, not a long time at all. It didn't take me that long. It was in summer. And I said before, I'm a person who always knits sweaters. Like, I don't care if it's 35 degrees outside. I'm not going to knit on a tiny cotton project just because it's warm. If you do that, you know, no judgment. But but no, I knit all the things all the time. Like, I knit on a blanket in summer. I don't care. And I started knitting this, and I don't know, say June, and I finished it in August. This is sort of what I remember, because I remember being in the kitchen in the evening where I had sort of put up for a few weeks, I used to put up my crafting space in that kitchen when the kids were in bed. In the summer of 2018, so yeah, my youngest son was a half a year old, and when both of the boys were in bed, I somehow started crafting in the kitchen. Don't ask me why, probably because I wanted my peace and quiet, or I don't know why. And I remember it being so freaking hot. It was so warm, so unbearably hot. And I sat in the kitchen and I used to sew project bags and knit on my sweater. This, and I remember the one that I started after, but it's a winter sweater, so I'm not going to show you this one today. And I vividly remember that. So, and I knit 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn into the sweater. Oh my god. So it is big. Hold on, I'm going to show you how wide it is. So I feel like it doesn't even fit on the screen properly. So it's this big, and I'm this person. So it's like I would fit in there twice or even 3 times, I don't know. And then it's got these very small snug arms, which I really, or sleeves, which I really enjoy. And also, like, they're not up here, but they hang like way down here, because of all the sweater fabric, like that falls down your arm and then the sleeves come. So they go, yeah, down to here, something like that. I think I followed the pattern exactly, which is, you know, how you can account for this sort of, that's the circumference, right? How how I actually cast on this many stitches, and I don't remember the size. No, I don't remember the size that I made, but it's not a huge size. So yeah, if I were to knit this again, and I don't think that I want to knit it again, which is not to say anything bad about the pattern, but I don't think I want to knit another boxy. I would definitely go down a few sizes. Yeah. Anyway, so let me tell you about the yarn and the needles. So I knit this in a 3mm and 3.5mm needles. So 3.5 was for the body and 3 was for the ribbing. And this is supposed to be a sort of a fade, which I don't know that I'm a fade person. I don't think all the things have to be faded for my taste. And I think I allowed for myself to be like carried away on this fade cake or like fashion and faded the sweater, which I don't necessarily love it now. This fade. I wear it and I'm happy with it. I like the sweater fine. It's just not that it's, I was never in love with it, really, I think, is what I'm saying. So, okay. This is an assembly of single skeins that I had laying around. So this is the Comfort colorway that I got from Molly of the Homespun House. I think she still dyes this, and I love this color. I think this is such a fun berry color. Again, on my screen it looks darker than it actually is. This is a 2017 Yarn Club from Molly of a Homespun House. The lighter pink here, it's called it's my party and I'll cashmere if I want to. So this was her MCN base, merino cashmere nylon. I think this one as well. This one, I mean. This is a, hold on, it's all in reverse on camera, so on my screen, so that's why I don't know which side goes up. This is a 2017 Gilmore Girls Club. Hold on, I'm doing it wrong again. You see, so this is also it has different pinks in it, but it's got these dark specks. Can you see? This was gifted to me by my friend Francie for Christmas when I was pregnant with my second son. And yeah, I knit this in here because I wanted a fun project for it, and I wanted something that I wanted to use it in something that I would get a lot of use out of. So this was the project I had to go into. And then this last one here is again, or is it? Yeah, Frida Fuchs. So the Berlin dyers, hand dyer team in the Rote Beete colorway. So the same one that I used in my jelly roll for the yoke, right? I knit this according to pattern. So it's a 4-row 1x1 ribbing at the end. And that's not a good idea, I think, because it rolls up. I don't know if you can see, but it keeps rolling up also when you wear it. And this is just a too small, the cuff is just too small, like not cuff, but the ribbing it should be longer. 4 rows is not, I think, a very good idea. So I'm sorry, Hobie, but I would knit it longer next time around. And for the collar up here, you just have plain stockinette, so it rolls. I like that. I like that. Yeah. And there's a tiny little bit of detail like up here in the sleeves. I knit everything like she says. And I'm happy with the sweater. It's not my favorite sweater, but it's not to say that I don't like it and I don't like wearing it. So it's a fun sweater, and I'm happy to have used up those single skeins. And I think I used up every skein almost entirely. One of the skeins, for one of them I had, for the Comfort colorway, I think I had like 200 grams left, and another one 100. But other than that, I used up all of those. And all of the Frida Fuchs yarns that I talked about up until now are the Hosenmatz base, which I forgot to say. Up next is my Zweig sweater by Caitlin Hunter, which I knit in 2019 and 2020. I started it, and then it took me a long time to finish. I don't know why. I don't remember why. I just did. I knit this exactly to pattern as I remember. I've washed it, I've blocked it, and I have not woven in the ends on the bottom here because I didn't know whether it was long enough, because I finished this, hold on, can that be true? Yeah, I think I finished it when I was pregnant with my daughter, so I couldn't try it on. Because it's not super tight, but it's a snug enough sweater that I couldn't get it over my belly. And I must have finished it sometime in fall when I was, you know, past that point of trying on regular sweaters. So yeah, so I finished that, and I love this design, and I wanted to wear it so badly. And then I was sad that I couldn't because of, you know, the pregnancy, that I couldn't wear it. And then it took me a while before I could wear it again. And I'm somewhat embarrassed to say I haven't worn it yet, which I don't know why that is. Because, oh no, I know, because of the length. Because I'm not sure of whether I want it to be longer. Because I want it to, if I want to wear it with jeans, I have to make it a little longer. If I leave it as it is, I'm going to wear it with a skirt. And I feel a little bit insecure, or like, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but shy of like making this decision. But I think it would be fun with a skirt. I think it's better with a skirt. And also I can always make another and have it be a little bit longer for jeans. I don't know. I don't know what's holding me back. It's stupid really, but there you go. Now you know. I haven't ever worn my Zweig sweater, but here it is, and I think it's gorgeous. So the green yarn is what's it called? Mondim sock yarn, the no nylon sock yarn, non-superwash sock yarn, in the color 103. I used up almost 3 skeins of this green yarn, which is a beautiful sort of emerald green. And with that pattern here, I didn't have, like, it didn't hold me back, hold me up a lot. Like, I keep doing this when I should be doing this. Sorry. Yeah, it was fun to knit. Like, it was a really fun knit. And then this lace here, I just think it's beautiful. Like, I really enjoy it. I know now it's a designer that I don't know that I still support her. It's definitely a designer that is controversial, you know, to tie in with our conversation from last time with J.K. Rowling. Like, yeah. But I'm glad I made this sweater, and it was fun to knit, and I still think this is by far her most stunning design. I've knit her Tenya, which, that's a tale of woe. I wouldn't knit it again, which I don't think has anything to do with the pattern, but my knitting experience was just not fun. And I'm going to talk about that in a different episode, but maybe I should do like an episode focusing on shirts, but I haven't knit that many shirts, so I'm going to think about that. But I loved knitting the sweater at the time, period. And that's all I have to say about that. So for now, so that's just what it is. It's just my Zweig sweater that I knit a while back, and that I finally have to wear because now I have knit it and I wanted to have it for a while, and I still think it's a gorgeous design. Oh, the yarn. This is Hedgehog Fibres. I don't remember the colorway, and sadly I don't think I put it on my Ravelry page because this is where I check. I used a half a skein of the Hedgehog Fibres sock yarn here, and I loved the combination of, yeah, that does it more justice, of this well, I think today you would say mauve, but in German it would still be a rose sort of color, like a pink, we say old rose, like an old, a dusty pink color with that emerald green. I think this is a fantastic color combination, just like very light pink with very dark navy blue. That is also stunning in my book. So yeah, I have to wear this. Now that I see it, I have to wear the sweater. It's ridiculous having it just in my closet. It's ridiculous. Okay. I have to get over myself and just do it. Now, next up. So I'm going in chronological order, by the way, right? Sip. I'm going in chronological order. So the next thing that I knit in my pregnancy with my, hold on now, daughter, I must have been, because this was knit in the fall of 2020. So is my second featherweight cardigan, and this was inspired by my friend Debbie, who's the dyer behind the Living Path. And I talked to her, you know, when I saw her wearing her weekender sweater on Instagram. I commented like, I'm wearing mine today because this is one of the knits that still fits over my belly, and that I'm going to talk about my weekender in my winter sweater episode. And that I'm going to film. Like, I'm going to show you my winter sweaters, and then I'm going to talk about that design. And she said, you need more cardigans in your life. And I thought, oh man, she is right. I think I'm more of a sweater person, less of a cardigan person. But then again, when you're pregnant, cardigans are just like everything, right? You need them. And I thought, and now here comes my story. So I'm going to show you the yarn first. So the end of the story is I knit another featherweight, on larger needles, because I didn't want this very tight situation happening, and this is what came out. It's much bigger than the other one. Okay, so this is a very, like, a burgundy red, a dark red. It's a tweed yarn. Can you see this? Yeah, this is about it. Oh, this is a bit yellower, but so anyway, this is Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal, and this is a tweed yarn. That's good. You could see there. It's called, oh, the colorway is 54007 red. That's what it's called. And I used 270 grams of this color for the cardigan. So again, it doesn't close in the front because of the design, right? I'm sorry, it's so dark in here today. I can't even really see. But it like falls something like this. Not that you can see, but like this is where one button band is. Button band. It doesn't have buttons, but, and that's where the other is. So you have this little gap in the middle, right? I'm sorry, you can't see it all, but you can see here, right? So there is. When Debbie said that, I thought, okay, so what sort of patterns do I have when it comes to cardigans? And I immediately thought of this featherweight pattern, because I thought I wanted to reknit this in a different size and with a different yarn. And I thought, so that would be fun, because it's like easy to put on. It's not a you know, it's a very simple knit, and you can just wear it with whatever, really. And then I thought, I immediately thought of this red yarn, of the Debbie Bliss yarn that I have here, because I bought that in the pregnancy before. So both the featherweight pattern and the yarn that I used here are sort of pregnancy projects, because I knit my first featherweight in the oh my god, I get all confused now. So in my second pregnancy, so with my second son, and the second featherweight in my third pregnancy with my daughter. And I bought the yarn and this yarn in my second pregnancy with my second son, because they had a yarn store on the hospital grounds, which yay. This was I felt so happy when I discovered that. So right when you walk on the premises, there is the yarn store right there. And it's I had been to a different hospital with my oldest son, and it had not been a good experience. So I chose a different place for the second, for giving birth to my second child. And when I walked on the grounds and I saw this yarn store right there, I thought, oh man, that's a sign. And when I had my first appointment there, that I was I got very good news from the doctors that took away much of my anxiety, because that's a long story, but so my all of my pregnancies were easy and good, but when I gave birth to my first son, that was quite a catastrophe. Like, it was not a good experience, and it was there were complications and serious complications, and that was well, just not a good experience. And based on that, the sort of complications that arose, doctors were all like, "Oh my God, this is going to be so dangerous," blah blah blah, going forward, like into the second pregnancy. And I'm not gonna go into details, but it's just been that I was very anxious and scared during that second pregnancy, up until the end, really, just because of well, I'm just gonna say, like, the way in which doctors sort of carelessly just speak their every thought, without thinking about, like, this is a mother about to give birth in a few weeks, and if she hears all of this, she is going to be she's going to panic, and this is not going to work. And looking back, I feel like, I'm sorry, my voice just came in, but so for a host of reasons, that second pregnancy was one where I was very scared and very preoccupied with many things that people told me, like, those were really likely to happen. And, so they came in again. I don't know what I was about to say, but, like, people told me so many things that were so very likely to happen, and that obviously freaked me out. And when I went to that first appointment at that clinic, which was a very good clinic, and it was a very good, well-known a doctor who talked to me and did the ultrasound and all the things. And then she said to me, like, "You don't have to panic. This is all going to be good. Like, I don't see anything that's supposed to be going wrong here, and you can relax into that rest of the pregnancy," and so on and so forth. And I was so relieved to hear that, because she was literally the first person who told, not the first, my midwife too, but other than that, the first person, and certainly the first doctor, who was relaxed and who said, "This is not going to be an issue. You are going to be fine. Your child's going to be fine. You don't need a C-section." And she was right. In the end, everything went so smoothly, and nothing went wrong. There was no issues whatsoever. So, and that's the moment when I could actually, like, be a little bit relieved. And so I went into the yarn store and I thought, okay, so this is I saw this yarn and I thought it was so pretty, that sort of red shade, and I thought, I'm going to buy this and make a fun sweater, and this is going to be like, to celebrate this occasion, because it was a very big deal to me that she said that. And that's how I got to buy the yarn. And then it was so special that I never made a sweater with it, which is a weird thing that I have, that I think many people have. When things are very special to them, they are hesitant to use them, which sadly eats away at that specialty, or that at that feeling too. And then I thought, in my third pregnancy, when Debbie said, "You need more sweaters in your cardigans in your life," I thought, okay, so now, if you need a design, this is it. Pull out the yarn and just use it already. And I thought, okay, perfect. It felt like a perfect moment to use it and knit another garment in it in my third pregnancy, when again I was like at that moment of, oh my God, I hope these things are not going to happen again. That happened to me the first time around. But in that pregnancy, I was much more relaxed, because I had this good, like, second birth experience on my shoulders, and I was going for a home birth, and so that in and of itself relaxed me immensely. So yeah, that was my story about the Debbie Bliss yarn that I bought. So, which is just so intricately tied to that cardigan that I had to tell you, because now I have. And then when my daughter was born, I cast on for a new sweater, slip over. I knit the Vellicor by Andrea Mowry, And I have admired this on her page, and I thought it was so, like, I love slipovers for the ease that they bring and for the style too. And I loved the fit, like how she wore it. And I had beautiful yarn that I bought in Denmark in, oh, when would that have been? 2019. Yeah, 2019. At Hosenmatz, which is in the northwest of Denmark. And there's a beautiful yarn store called Hosenmatz. I'm going to link that for you. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I think that's how you would pronounce it in Swedish, but not necessarily in Danish. But I don't speak Danish. So, okay, anyways, I bought Isaga, or Isaya, I don't know how you say that. For me, it's Isaga yarn in, so Isaga Alpaca 2 in the E7S colorway, which would be the earth tony gray, and the 21 red tomato colorway. There you go. So that's it. This is a very unusual color palette for me, and that's not a good fit, which is hard for you to see now. This is a very, well, it looks very red. It looks better on screen actually than in real life. So this red, what looks red now, is like an orangey, rusty orange color. And orange is not for me, and all things rusty are really not my, like, I don't think they look good on me. It makes me look very pale. Yeah. This is the alpaca yarn that I bought in Denmark, and the lady at the store, she said, because I had picked other colors, not for this project, but just in general, because I don't know, that's what you do to bring souvenirs home, right? And she said she would pick different colors for me. She said you need warm tones, which I think she was not right about that, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with her suggestion because it felt like fun, and I thought, why not buy something that is out of my comfort zone color wise and just experiment with that. And I think that's always a good idea. So I bought this kind of rusty, it's much more rusty than it looks on my screen now, orange situation, and this is not really gray, but it's a brown gray, like it's a very earth tony thing, and I prefer a clean gray because that I just like it much better. And the white or cream color is just something that my mother-in-law had in stash. That's not alpaca, but it had just the right weight, and I felt like, because the valley core, like every 6 repeats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, every 6 stripe is a contrast, the second contrast color. So I did want to buy something new just for that. I had a blue, but that looked weird, and so I thought this was a nice kind of contrast. I still think that it's a joy to wear because it's so very light, and it's just a perfect square with like tiny little well, what can you say, cuffs, but it's just a tiny little bit of ribbing on it. See? And I knit this when my daughter was born. Oh, yeah. When my daughter was born, so last year, she was born in January, and I knit this in, must have been like April, May of 2021, when I took her to bed, and then I would just sit in bed, like next to her, and because she would wake up again and again, so then I could put her back to sleep, and just, I loved just remaining in bed in the evening, watching Netflix on my phone, with like earphones, and just sitting right next to her and knitting away. And that's what I knit on when I fell down a big this is so stupid, but a really big Dawson's Creek rabbit hole. So it came on Ravelry. They took it, like, it became watchable on Netflix, however you put that, but And I thought, oh man, I used to watch like Dawson's Creek when I was like 15 or something, 16, when it was here, when it was on TV here in Germany, and the German version of that, because Germans dub everything, right? So you cannot watch the original here, but you always watch the German version. And so I remembered that so much, and then I remembered, so I really remembered watching Dawson's Creek, but and I did remember the plot, sort of. And then I wrote down, and that was so funny. It was a good thing I did that. I wrote down like the most, like the strongest memories I had of that show. Because sometimes I still had like a scene I could really describe in detail, and I could still see in my mind's eye. Yeah, I could really, picture those scenes in my mind. And so I wrote those down, and I was really looking forward to the moments when I came across them. And in some instances I did, and that was always like such a fun moment. And in some instances I didn't, because I had images, and still have in my mind, of the show very vividly. I really remember scenes that apparently don't exist. Has that ever happened to you? Like, I thought it was so interesting. Like one aerial shot on some sort of a winding street in fall, with all of the leaves turning red and yellow and whatnot, with Eddie, is that the guy that Joey is with later on? With Joey and Eddie. And that exact scene that I have in my mind just doesn't exist. Or Dawson walking out of a trailer or something on set in the very last episode, but this exact thing that I have on my mind, it doesn't exist. And I thought that was so interesting. And I really, it hit me hard. The Dawson's Creek book, it really hit me hard, because I realized how little I remembered, which is interesting because we really used to watch it. But then again, it's a good 20 years ago. And how, like, it's a really good storytelling. There are some episodes where I'm like, oh yeah, when they want to like imitate all the different genres with like horror movies and shows, and then there is the Blair Witch Project episode, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I get what they're doing. It's just nothing I love, you know. But the storytelling, in the sense of that love story that is being told, or love stories that are being told, is just very immersive, and it still works. And I thought that was very interesting. Like, I was really impressed with that show, which I didn't see coming. I was gonna watch it, like, you know, for the memories, sort of. But I really loved it. And so, okay, when we went back to Denmark, so we went back for the following 2 years, and last year I bought a new sweater combination. I mean, not that I cannot also buy the yarn here, but I bought it there. So again, Isaga, or however you pronounce it, alpaca 2, and this is my color palette. I don't know if it focused now, but so what I had in mind is the pink as a main color. This is a very light pink. I want to go with the pink as a main color, gray as the contrasting color with the five stripes that are repeated over and over, and then the very light gray. It's again an earth tony gray, but I like it. It's a very light gray. That is supposed to be the contrasting stripe every once in a while. That's what I'm going for. Oh, and I can see the finished thing in my mind, and I think it's going to be great. So I really want to knit it this winter. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Because I still have 2 sweaters on my needles. Another one that I desperately want to knit, which is the new one that Andrea Mowry published, what's it called? The Big Cozy Cardigan, you know, the one with the bat arms, the bat sleeves, and this huge gigantic collar. I saw this, the first image, and I thought, oh my goodness, I am sold. I need to knit this. And then I want to make the Velicore. And then there are 2 sweaters that need tweaking, so that need ripping back and reknitting in other words, but that's something for a different episode. So who knows if I'm going to knit this fall, is what I'm saying, or this winter. Definitely not this fall, but maybe this winter, but I'll keep you posted. And then the last but one is a very recent make from, oh god, I have to turn the page, the Radvent cardigan by Amber O'Brien. Another name I tend to forget, I don't know why. I knit the 35-inch bust, or 87.5 centimeters, with on a 4mm needle, and I knit that last year and started last year and finished this year. So I talked about this in the past, right? That's the very colorful cardigan that I'm talking about. So if you remember, I used up all sorts of Advent minis for this project and sort of faded them together to the best of my abilities, and I made it, which is a stupid detail, but I like it, made it so that both of the arms of the sleeves start with the same rose color that my friend Claire has knit into a sweater for my baby daughter for when she was really just a newborn, and she's worn this a lot during those first weeks, and it's so cute. And there, so many of her minis from the Advent calendar swap that we do every year ended up in here, and a lot of Homespun House, which is like sort of this portion, and all of the colors here on the back, I think, because Molly's Advent calendar turned out to be very much a fade, I thought. And I figured, okay, so this is an invitation. I have to honor that, the will of the yarn. It's uttering a wish, so I might as well go with that. And so that was still Molly of a Homespun House. And then here are many of the yarns from Claire's calendar kind of are worked into. Okay, so, and I talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into all that much detail, just to say that, man, this is really almost no color at all. So this, these cuffs, they're supposed to be this long, and the neckband, and also the broad sort of ribbing on the back, and are knit in the, again, Frida Fuchs yarn. Hosenmatz, it's again the Hosenmatz base that they have in the colorway Artichoke, and I used about just shy of 70 grams for all of the edging, like for the cuffs, for the neckband, and for the brim down here for this. So you're not supposed to knit this long of a ribbing down here, but I did because I wanted for the entire cardigan to not be as cropped. If I were to knit this again, I would definitely cast on stitches for the body, at least up until here, or even more, and then knit the ribbing. But that was an experiment, and it's supposed to be a fun, colorful cardigan that you can just throw on, and that's just what it is. And then, and you've seen this in almost every, if not every, podcast episode, the last fall sweater that I have, and this season it's my most worn one, is my stripes sweater, like Chelsea says, stripes, because it's all caps, by Andrea Mowry again. And I'm just quickly going to run you through this. Knit in a size 3 on 3mm needles, and for the main body 3.5mm needles. I knit this summer, and the colors are, so this berry color right here is the Loving Path non-superwash fingering weight base in the Blood Moon colorway. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is a berry color. And then the gold stellina base by a Homespun House in the Folklore colorway, and also by a Homespun House the Monstera colorway on her non-superwash base. And I paired these together, and I have to say, after the first wash, I mean, I've washed it and dried it before wearing, but now that I gave it a first wash, I have to say that sadly this non-superwash yarn, even though it's very easy on it, but it tends to felt, and I hope this entire thing is not going to look weird when the green stripes start felting a little bit. Where's that? Here. And the others don't, because this is not this is also a non-superwash, but this for some reason felt, and I was very gentle on the sweater. Now I know that I'm supposed to not touch it at all when it's in the water, but I was very, very easy on it. So I hope this is going to work. Otherwise I'm going to be heartbroken and I'm going to have to knit this again. But okay, so then so be it. That's my striped sweater, which I love so much. Let me go back to my Vellicore, because I don't think I told you the needle size and stuff, did I? So this is a size 3, knit on a 2.5 millimeter needle, and then for the pattern on a 3.25 millimeter needle. I knit this in 2021. Yeah, that was it. So I still owed you the needle sizes, and I think the size for the entire garment. That is that, guys. That was that. That's my collection of fall sweaters, fall cardigans, fall knits. I'm going to be back with a regular episode in, I want to say, 2 weeks time. And I'm also planning on doing like a winter sweater or like heavier weight sweater episode, and also a shawl episode, or maybe 2, because I say I'm not a huge shawl knitter, but I definitely used to be. And yeah, so let me know what you think about these like sort of like special episodes or like theme episodes, if that's something that you're into, because I very much am. When I watched that other podcast and she did that, I thought it was so fun. So I hope you enjoyed that sort of run through my fall wardrobe, if you will. And what can I say except happy sweater knitting. Enjoy whichever season you're transitioning into, so whether it be fall or spring, and soak up these moments of transitioning. How do you say that? I love those seasons where you can feel the change, you know. And I love fall because I love winter, and I always say like the best thing about summer is fall, because I really get very excited when we head into fall weather, and I love winter, and I love it being dark when I wake up. I might be the only person on the planet who loves that, but I do love it, and I love rainy days, and I don't think it's ugly weather. Like for me, it's the best. But yeah, so maybe that's also why I'm very excited about my fall knits, but I just thought it was like a seasonal occasion to talk you through that sort of. As always, find something that you can mend in your life. Sew on a knee patch or an elbow patch, or mend your socks that you've been meaning to mend for a while, or mend an item in your house, make something that has broken or is about to break last longer. Glue together those Playmobil pieces that broke from your kids' room, or whatever it is that came apart, and just be reminded that just because Christmas season starts now, that doesn't mean you have to buy all the things. I know we feel like that, right? But relax into the moment. Breathe. Think about what you actually want to buy for that season, what sort of gifts make sense, and whether you really need to buy all that many things. Just because it's Christmas, it's not Christmas, but just because it's Christmas season, it's definitely starting here where I am, doesn't mean you have to buy so many things. So get in that mindset of we have enough and we have each other and we don't have to buy like crazy people, because it's not a good idea. Not for the planet, not for our purses, not for our living situation. And yeah, just be mindful is what I'm saying, as sort of inspiration or whatever. I don't want to lecture you, but just to say, let go. Don't let that stress get to you. Yeah, as always, if you feel like it, just like and subscribe below. I am very excited to see that so many, for like it being only my 6th episode, people are following already, and I am really excited when people comment below. So yeah, if you feel like it, let me know whether you are into these sort of episodes that have like a theme, and whether you have a favorite is the word, a favorite sweater pattern for fall, or just generally something that you've knit again and again and again, or that you've just discovered, or something that has been on your wish list for a while and maybe you want to cast it on this fall. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm very excited to hear from you, because this is why I'm doing this, right? And if you feel at all inclined to support this podcast in some way, shape, or form, you can head over to my Ko-fi page and get me a tiny little cup of coffee, which I'm going to interpret as black tea, obviously. But don't at all feel pressured. You are more than welcome to just hang around and stick around and listen to me chatter on, just, for the hell of it. So there is no expectation from my side. Just want to put it out there that this page exists, and if you feel so inclined, you can hop over there. Again, be reminded that all the show notes are down below, so whatever information you're looking for, I hope you're going to find it down there. And that's that. I don't think I have any more to say today, which I always have more things to say. I think I'm going to end it here. So makers, knitters, thank you so much for being here, for hanging with me, and for listening to my rambles. And yeah, and happy knitting, happy making, happy stitching, happy crocheting. Do you say crochet or crocheting? I don't know. But happy making, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.